Hi, this is Joe Barzicki, Dell Solution Center's. Particular fabric that I'm interested in is Blade_Chicago. I haven't deployed this fabric yet, but I just want to spend a few minutes on describing the reason why I've selected this particular fabric. If we drill down into Blade_Chicago network, you'll see that we have 2 spine switches and 2 leaf switches. Very simple network setup. Across the top, we actually have virtual link trunking, and the leaf layer is going to be fairly basic. No VLT, a layer 2 blade fabric using our MXLs. So here's a quick view of the topology. I've already cabled all this up. You'll see here that step 3 I have a deployment requirement, which means I haven't quite deployed this fabric yet. Another item that's very unique about this Blade_Chicago fabric is the option for the operating system that I've selected. I'll quickly show you that. In pre-deployment configuration, if we hop down to software images, notice here that we have 2 versions of FTOS, one for the S4810 and the other for the MXL. This is our 9.2 code, which was just released last week. I was able to get this code loaded by using the upload utility through the SSH console. So here's the version that it comes with out of the box. This is the version that I uploaded to Active Fabric Manager earlier today. I'm able to select that. So why is this important? Well, in 9.2, we announced the ability to support Openflow on our MXL switches. Now I'm going to deploy this fabric. It's very easy to do. Go to Deploy Fabric, select Deploy and Validate. And I'm going to go ahead and select all 4 switches and do a full-blown deployment. This option here gives me the ability to select Apply Configuration Changes to the switch or Overwrite. Think of Apply as a cut and paste, and an Overwrite as a TFTP download of a configuration that Active Fabric Manager holds and is deployed to each of the switches, which is exactly what we want to do for a deployment. And I already have console connections up to most of the switches. Up here I have Spine 1, Spine 2, one of the MXLs, via our chassis management controller. We'll have several reboots happen as it goes through deploying this fabric. So I'm not going to worry about doing any configuration changes on the switches themselves. I'm going to go ahead and let Active Fabric Manager take care of all that for me. Okay, now it looks like everything's completed. I have a full running fabric using MXLs as leaf switches and S4810s as spine switches. This is a layer 2 fabric. So I have VLT running in the spine. As it stands right now, nothing really configured for the blade environment as of yet. I now want to go in and do some advanced configuration. Before getting to that, I'd like to quickly show you this fabric. Show VLT. I want to keep VLT running in the spine layer, but in the leaf layer I want to make it pure Openflow. Stay with traditional networking technology in the spine. And then at the leaf layer for our MXLs, I want to enable Openflow for all ports. And I can quickly do that using Active Fabric Manager. So let me show you. Going back over to Active Fabric Manager, we have the CLI configuration. Go ahead and select on Manage Templates here real quick. Notice here we have 2 templates that have already been defined. One is for Open Managed Network Manager, and the second one I'm going to get into here in a second for Openflow. Let's quickly look at Open Managed Network Manager. So you can see here I just have a very basic configuration. This template I can associate on a spine basis, leaf basis, or on the entire fabric, or multiple fabrics. In order for this to take effect, I need to associate these templates. I'll go ahead and select on Add Association. And here's the 2 templates that I have configured here. I'm just going to go ahead and associate to the entire fabric. Click on Apply, and there we go. That's done. Oh, one other thing too, I can add a comment in here. Any area that I have the ability to put in comments, I always do it. So added 6 August 13 by Joe Barzicki. Okay, click Close. And notice my change here has changed from complete to required. So I need to apply a configuration change update. over to the Deploy tab, and I'm going to deploy to all the switches. In this case, I'm just going to apply the configuration. Hit OK. If I refresh this, this will happen real quick. But it's going to merge the configuration and apply it. I'll see if I can catch it here on each of the spines. Yep, there we go. So you can see it's already been applied to the fabric. And there we go, that's completed. And let's go in and take a look via console if those changes have been made. And there it is. There's our SNMP community string. The next update I would like to make is I'd like to enable Openflow. It's really easy to configure, and that's all done through CLI configuration. We select on Manage Templates. You can see here I've already created a configuration template. Go ahead and select on Edit. I went ahead and just created a template name, which is called Data Plane Openflow 1 Downstream. And I want this template to create the Openflow instance, make that Openflow instance a type VLAN, and then I want to add all the ports, the downstream or server-facing ports, to that Openflow instance. Now, if you notice here, it's just like a notepad. I went ahead and just made my configuration changes and typed all this in. I'll just quickly walk through this with you. So if you notice here, we have a modify CAM ACL. Without going into a lot of detail, with our operating system, we have the ability to manipulate CAM and borrow pieces of CAM based on how we see fit. I'm also going to modify the CAM ACL VLAN. I'm going to set the VLAN Openflow to 1. Next, I'm going to go ahead and create the Openflow instance. It's very easy to do. You just go ahead and specify the Openflow instance 1. In this case, I'm going to leave it in a shutdown state. I'm going to go ahead and specify the controller, which in this case is a big switch controller. And I already have that up and running. And this is the IP address of the big switch controller. And then I went ahead and typed interface type VLAN. For my front-facing ports, I use the interface range command for the first 32 ports, ports 1 through 32. I'm just going to go ahead and issue the switch port command, and I'm going to bring all those up. And then last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and create a VLAN, just an arbitrary VLAN number 1337, and I'm going to associate that VLAN number to Openflow instance 1. I'm going to tag all 10 gig ports 0/1 through 32. Now, I want to associate that template, and this is the template. Here's a preview of that template. I'm going to apply some comments here, and in this case, I want to associate to just the leaf switches, because again, I don't want to do anything with regards to Openflow and the spine. The capability is there, but I want to make sure I just do it on the leaf switches. Now, as soon as I hit apply, if I refresh here, step 3 is going to change from complete to required for those 2 changes that I associated a template for. So I'm going to go ahead and select on Deploy Fabric, on Deploy Selected, go ahead and hit Yes. Now I can apply this configuration or overwrite it. I'm going to go ahead and click on Apply for now. There's the login. There's all my configuration. And here's the Openflow instance being added to those first 32 ports. Save the config, we're done. Okay, so now let's go in and validate. You can see here, here's our CAM ACL entries. Here's our Openflow instance 1. Take a look at that Openflow instance. Here's the configuration. If I look at the actual Openflow instance itself, admin state is down because I did leave it in a shutdown state. Here's my VLAN 1337. And this O indicates that it is also Openflow tagged VLAN. The next video I'm going to go in and start showing what changes need to be done on the big switch controller.